The arrival of the HFY Empire. The great warships of the HFY Empire moved through space like dark metal sharks. Their hulls gleamed with the scars of 1,000 conquered worlds. At the head of this mighty fleet flew the command vessel Dominion's Edge, its weapons charged and ready for another easy victory. Commander Zekthon stood on the bridge, his 4 arms crossed behind his armored back. The HFY were a proud warrior race, standing nearly 8 feet tall with thick gray skin that could stop most projectile weapons. Their empire stretched across 3 galaxy arms, and no species had ever successfully resisted them for long. "Commander, we approach the target system," announced Sub-Commander Yexra from her tactical station. Her voice carried the typical HFY confidence that came from never knowing defeat. Long-range scans confirmed the intelligence reports. The third planet appears completely lifeless. Zekthon's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. "Excellent. The humans have been gone for 500,000 cycles. Whatever plague destroyed them left their world ripe for harvest. Their technology may be primitive, but their planet holds valuable resources." The fleet consisted of 12 heavy assault cruisers, 40 destroyer-class vessels, and countless fighter squadrons. It was more than enough firepower to level entire continents. The HFY had learned not to take chances, even with supposedly dead civilizations. Admiral Krexmole's voice crackled through the communications array from the flagship Iron Conquest. "All vessels, begin standard invasion formation. Zekthon, take your advanced squadron and scout the planet's surface. We'll remain at the edge of the system until you confirm there are no surprises." "Understood, Admiral," Zekthon replied, beginning approach to the third planet. As the advanced squadron moved deeper into the Sol system, the crews marveled at the sight before them. Earth hung in space like a blue and green jewel, its surface unmarked by the usual signs of planetary death. No massive craters from asteroid impacts, no radiation signatures from nuclear wars. The planet looked almost peaceful. "Scans indicate the atmosphere is still perfectly breathable," reported the ship's science officer. "Oceans are clean. Plant life is abundant. It's as if the humans simply vanished without a trace." Zekthon studied the readings with growing curiosity. In his experience, species didn't just disappear cleanly. There were always signs of struggle, evidence of their final battles against whatever force claimed them. This was different. "What about their cities?" he asked. "Still standing, Commander. Architecture appears intact. No signs of bombardment or decay beyond what you'd expect from natural weathering over such a long period." The mystery deepened as they entered Earth's orbital space. Ancient satellites drifted silently around the planet, their solar panels dark and systems apparently dormant. Space stations hung motionless in the void like metal tombstones marking humanity's grave. "Commander," Yexra said, her voice carrying a note of uncertainty, "I'm detecting some unusual energy signatures." "Specify." "Very faint power readings from several of those orbital platforms. The signatures are unlike anything in our databases. The energy patterns seem almost alive." Zekthon dismissed the concern with a wave of his upper right arm. "Automated systems. Primitive backup power keeping basic functions online. Nothing more." But as their ships moved closer to Earth, more anomalies began appearing on their sensors. Deep space monitoring stations, previously thought to be derelict, began showing sporadic activity. Ancient communication arrays started rotating to track their movement. "Commander, we're being scanned," the tactical officer announced. The bridge fell silent except for the hum of ship systems. "By what?" "Unknown. The scanning method is beyond our current understanding. It's as if something is learning about us." Zekthon felt the first touch of unease. Evasive maneuvers. Spread the squadron formation. If these are automated defenses, they're probably slow and clumsy. The HFY ships scattered into attack formation, their weapons powering up. That's when everything changed. From behind the moon, a structure emerged that defied immediate explanation. It was massive, easily the size of a small city, and covered in geometric patterns that seemed to shift and flow across its surface. Energy readings spiked beyond their instruments' ability to measure. "What in the void is that?" Zekthon breathed. Before anyone could answer, similar structures began emerging from asteroid belts throughout the system. They had been there all along, perfectly camouflaged, waiting. Ancient defense platforms unfolded like mechanical flowers, revealing weapon systems that made Kethvar technology look primitive by comparison. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission," the communications officer reported. It's in our language. Put it through." A voice filled the bridge, neither male nor female, neither young nor old. It spoke with the authority of eternity itself. "Unknown vessels, you have entered protected space. This system is under the guardianship of the Terran Defense Network. Withdraw immediately or face consequences." Zekthon's pride flared. No primitive automated system would threaten the mighty Kethvar Empire. "This is Commander Zekthon of the Kethvar Imperial Fleet. This system is now claimed by our empire. Surrender your defenses or be destroyed." The response came not in words, but in action. The nearest defense platform, still dozens of kilometers away, fired a single pulse of energy. It struck the Dominion's edge with surgical precision, passing through their shields as if they didn't exist. The pulse disabled their weapon systems without damaging anything else. "Impossible," whispered the tactical officer. "Our shields didn't even register the impact." More platforms were emerging now, rising from the surfaces of asteroids, uncloaking from behind planetary bodies, ascending from the depths of gas-giant atmospheres. The entire system was revealing itself to be one massive interconnected defense network. "All ships, emergency retreat," Zekthon commanded, but found his communications were being jammed. Only local ship-to-ship remained functional. The mysterious voice spoke again, now seeming to come from everywhere at once. "You were warned. This system is protected by those who gave everything to ensure its safety. Leave now, while that option remains." Admiral Krexmol's voice finally broke through the interference. "Zekthon, what's happening?" "We're detecting massive energy spikes throughout the system. Admiral, we need immediate evacuation. These aren't primitive defenses. This is something far beyond." The transmission cut off as another energy pulse struck their communications array. But this time, something else happened. Images began flooding their screens. Memories, visions of humans in their final days. The Kethvar crew watched in stunned silence as holographic displays showed humans facing their extinction. Not from war or conquest, but from a cosmic plague that was slowly killing their species. They saw scientists working frantically in laboratories, engineers building massive structures in space, and millions of humans making an impossible choice. The images showed vast chambers filled with sophisticated machinery. Humans were stepping into these devices willingly, their bodies dissolving into pure energy, their consciousness being uploaded into a vast network. They were sacrificing their physical existence to become something more, something eternal. "They didn't die," Yexra whispered in amazement. "They transformed themselves into guardians." The revelation hit the Kethvar like a physical blow. Humanity hadn't vanished. They had evolved beyond physical form, merging their consciousness with their technology to create the ultimate defense system. They had literally become their planet's immune system. More defense platforms were activating, and with them came a growing sense of intelligence behind the automated responses. This wasn't just technology responding to threats. This was consciousness, millions upon millions of human minds working together as one. "All vessels, full retreat," Admiral Krexmol's voice crackled through the static. "This system is more dangerous than we anticipated." But as the Kethvar fleet began to withdraw, they realized the true scope of what they faced. The defense network wasn't just protecting Earth. It extended throughout the entire system, hidden in plain sight for 500,000 years, waiting for this moment. The ancient voice spoke one final time as they fled toward the edge of the system. "Remember this, Kethvar Empire. Earth is protected not by weapons or warriors, but by love itself. The love of parents for children never born, of scientists for knowledge never discovered, of dreamers for dreams never realized. This is what your empire can never understand, and why you can never defeat it. As the Dominion's edge limped away from Earth, Zekthon realized they had encountered something unprecedented in their long history of conquest. They had met a species that had chosen to sacrifice everything for the sake of protection and love. The real question now was whether the Kethvar Empire would learn from this encounter, or return with even greater force to challenge the silent guardians of Earth. The awakening of the Guardian Network. Admiral Krexmol paced the command deck of the Iron Conquest like a caged predator. The reports from Zekthon's advanced squadron made no sense. In 300 years of military service, he had never encountered anything that could disable Kethvar weapons so effortlessly. "Show me the tactical analysis again," he commanded. The holographic display materialized in the center of the bridge, showing the Sol system in terrifying detail. What had appeared to be empty space now revealed itself as a three-dimensional maze of defense platforms, hidden shipyards, and energy networks that connected every celestial body. "Sir, our best estimates suggest there are thousands of these platforms," reported Chief Analyst Mokhtar. "Each one is more advanced than our most sophisticated warships, and they're all connected somehow, sharing information instantaneously across impossible distances." Krexmol's jaw tightened. "A dead species doesn't build defenses like this. What are we seeing?" His answer came sooner than expected. Every screen on the bridge suddenly displayed the same image: a human face, elderly but kind, with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages. "Greetings, Admiral Krexmol of the Kethvar Empire," the figure said. "I am Dr. Sarah Chen, or rather, what remains of her consciousness within the Guardian Network. We need to talk." The bridge fell silent. In all their conquests, the Kethvar had never encountered a dead species that could hold conversations. "You claim to be human," Krexmol said carefully. "But our records show your species died out 500,000 cycles ago." Dr. Chen's digital image smiled sadly. "Death is a relative concept. Admiral, our bodies perished, yes, but our minds, our souls, our determination to protect what we loved, these things found a way to endure." The holographic display changed, showing vast underground facilities on Earth. Millions of humans were entering complex machines, their faces peaceful but resolute. Children said goodbye to parents, lovers shared final embraces, and scientists worked frantically to complete their desperate project. "We called it the Consciousness Transfer Protocol," Dr. Chen explained. "When we realized the plague would end our species, we faced a choice. We could die with dignity, or we could transform into something that could protect Earth forever. 12 billion humans made the ultimate sacrifice." Krexmol watched the images with growing unease. "You turned yourselves into machines. We became something more than machines, more than biological life. We became purpose itself, distilled into pure determination. Every human who entered the transfer chambers did so knowing they would never see their physical forms again, never feel sunlight on their skin or breathe Earth's air. But they also knew their sacrifice would ensure Earth remained safe for eternity." The tactical display updated again, showing energy signatures throughout the solar system growing stronger. Whatever had been dormant was now fully awakening. "For 500,000 years, we've waited in digital dreams, our consciousness spread across quantum networks that span this entire system. We've watched galaxies turn, stars be born and die, and we've never forgotten our purpose. Earth must be protected." Another voice joined Dr. Chen's, this one strong and military in bearing. "Admiral, I'm Captain Marcus Webb, formerly of the Terran Defense Force. Now I'm something else entirely. Your fleet is impressive by organic standards, but you're facing opponents who have had 500,000 years to perfect the art of war." The space around Earth began to change. What had appeared to be empty vacuums started revealing hidden structures. Massive shipyards, each one the size of a small moon, decloaked from behind artificial camouflage fields. Inside them, construction was taking place at impossible speeds. "What you're seeing is the full activation of the Guardian network," Captain Webb explained. "Every platform, every hidden facility, every quantum processor in this system is now working together as a single mind with a single purpose." Ships began emerging from the hidden yards. They didn't look like any vessel in Kethvar databases. Their hulls seemed to flow like liquid metal, shifting and adapting as they moved. Energy patterns danced across their surfaces in ways that suggested technology beyond current understanding. "Impossible," breathed Chief Analyst Mokhtar. "Those ships are being constructed and launched simultaneously from dozens of locations. The coordination required is exactly what you'd expect from 12 billion minds working as one," Dr. Chen finished. "We are no longer limited by biological reaction times, by the need for sleep, by fear or doubt. We are purpose made manifest." The first Guardian ships reached the perimeter of the Kethvar fleet in minutes, moving at speeds that shouldn't have been possible. They didn't attack immediately. Instead, they simply observed. Admiral Krexmol felt a chill run down his spine. "What do you want?" "The same thing we've always wanted," Dr. Chen replied. "To protect our home. Your empire has a choice to make, Admiral. You can leave this system in peace and spread word that Earth is protected by forces beyond your understanding. Or you can attempt to conquer us and learn why love is the most powerful force in the universe." Captain Webb's digital presence materialized alongside Dr. Chen's. "Admiral, I've studied your military records. You're a competent strategist, not a mindless warmonger. Look at your tactical displays. Really look." Krexmol did as suggested, and what he saw made his blood run cold. The Guardian ships weren't just surrounding his fleet. They were everywhere, emerging from quantum dimensions, phasing through space-time itself. His sensors couldn't even count them all. "We're not machines following programming," Webb continued. "We're the collective will of an entire species that chose love over survival, protection over preservation. Every Guardian ship you see is piloted by the consciousness of humans who died to make this moment possible." More voices began joining the conversation. Teachers who had uploaded themselves to ensure Earth's knowledge survived. Parents who had sacrificed their existence so their children's world would remain safe. Artists who had dissolved their bodies to preserve beauty. Millions of individual voices speaking as one. "You cannot defeat love, Admiral," they said in unison. "You cannot conquer sacrifice. You cannot destroy what is already chosen to give up everything." The Kethvar fleet found itself completely surrounded by vessels that defied every law of physics they understood. Ships that moved through dimensions, weapons that seemed to think, shields that adapted in real time to any threat. "This is your final warning," the collective voice of humanity spoke. "Leave this system now. Tell your empire that Earth stands guard, protected by the greatest force any species can muster, the willingness to sacrifice everything for love." Admiral Krexmol looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew. For the first time in Kethvar history, he saw something he had never seen before: fear in the eyes of his warriors. "All ships," he said quietly, "begin immediate withdrawal from the system." "Sir," his tactical officer asked. "We outnumber them by nothing," Krexmol interrupted. "You can't outnumber infinity. You can't outgun purpose. And you can't defeat a species that has already died for what they believe in." As the Kethvar fleet retreated beyond the edge of the solar system, the Guardian ships did not pursue. They simply watched, eternal sentinels powered by love itself. Dr. Chen's image appeared one final time on their screens. "Go in peace, Admiral. Tell the galaxy that humanity endures, not in flesh and blood, but in determination and devotion. Earth will always have guardians." The image faded, leaving the Kethvar alone with the realization that they had encountered something unprecedented. A species that had transcended death itself through the power of sacrifice and love. As they jumped to hyperspace, carrying news of humanity's eternal vigil back to their empire, The Guardian Network settled back into patient watchfulness. 12 billion minds continued their endless watch, protecting a blue world that would forever remain humanity's greatest legacy. On Earth below, flowers bloomed in gardens tended by invisible hands, and the wind carried whispers of those who had given everything to ensure tomorrow would always come.